Lagos State House of Assembly moves to establish Lagos State Correctional Service. Northwest Governors Forum canvasses for people-centered constitution as the Sixth Amendment gathers momentum. Plus, correspondent on special assignment examines the oversight functions of Ogun State House of Assembly. Good evening and thanks for joining us on NTA Parliament News. I am Stella Inameti. Lagos State House of Assembly has subjected a bill seeking to establish the Lagos State Correctional Service to a one-day public hearing organized by the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, Public Petitions and LASIK in Lagos. Musa Toliat reports that the bill, when passed, is expected to provide the much-needed reforms in the criminal justice system and ensure a safer society for Lagos residents.
The public hearing is aimed at intimating stakeholders with the bill to establish Lagos State Correctional Service, which has scaled the second reading on the floor of the Lagos House of Assembly. Speaker, Lagos State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Mudashiru Abasa, who was represented, said the bill seeks to transform the justice system with emphasis on reformation, rehabilitation, and reintegration of inmates into the society.
The bill seeks to provide opportunities for rehabilitation of inmates through education, vocational training, farming and animal husbandry by establishing industrial centers equipped with modern facilities for skill acquisitions and designated correctional facilities, which will be mutually beneficial for the society and the inmates after their reintegration.
There was need for the presentation of an overview of the Lagos State Correctional Service Bill 2025.
The Lagos State Correctional Services Bill 2025 is very important for Lagos State. This bill protects human rights, follows international standards, and sets up a proper structure for both the officers and the people in custody. This bill has 68 clauses.
Chairman Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, Public Petitions and LASIK, Honorable Oladipo Ajamale said when the bill is passed, it will help address the issue of overcrowding in the country's correctional facilities.
The crux of this bill is to ensure that justice is not only about punishment. And that's a very important aspect to note. It's not only about punishment, it must include restoration, it must offer reform, and it must help individuals return to society better than they left.
Lagos State Attorney General and the Commissioner for Justice, Lawal Pedro, calls for renaming of the bill to reflect the distinction between custodial and non-custodial inmates.
If you are providing correctional services, it implies somebody must be in custody. But if you are doing custodial services, it does not mean the person will go for correctional. Because custodial are people remanded. They are still proven innocent. They won't be convicted. So they must be separated. Those are not the ones that will be going for rehabilitation, reformation. No.
Stakeholders made contributions to the bill.
Cost of compliance. What if the judge or the magistrate now make the order that person, inmate, should bear the cost? Where should that person have access to that money? They should be able to go through the justice process without paying a dime from their pocket.
Now in Lagos State, you don't have any foster home. You always send them to Abuja, which is Ogun State. So, by the time that I do this law, I think we should have everything together at once, so that we have a law that will guide the foster homes.
Non-custodial sentences. It is recommended that the provision be expanded to include house arrest. When arrest is made, there are some offenses that doesn't require going straight to the correctional service. You put them on house arrest as part of non-custodial measures.
Offense against discipline. Most of the officers that are going to be working for the correctional service are also going to be governed by the public sector rules and civil service rules. Some of these offenses, I think it's also good that falls in line with those previous provisions. There shouldn't be any clashing.
In as much as there is progress in the adult correctional facility, there is still a lot that needs to be done in the juvenile centers. As a matter of fact, as we speak right now, the special correctional center for boys and girls only have access to Private 6 education. And this kind of contravenes the provisions of the Child Rights Act that mandates that every child should have access to compulsory education up to junior secondary school level. So I'm pleading that we should recognize this in this bill.
Honorable Oladipo Ajamale assured stakeholders that the points raised in the memoranda submitted will be treated.
This bill is sponsored by the Right Honorable Speaker of the State House of Assembly, one of the most experienced speakers in Africa. And he's been the one who has composed and is the private sponsor of this particular bill. So the bill speaks to, rehabilitation more or less of inmates. It's not just going to be the usual operation of just throwing people there, leaving them incarcerated without having anything to do, or being malnourished or treated in an inhumane manner. It takes care of the rights of the inmates. It also takes care of the rights of the service providers as well. So, from the all the officers that will be basically working there.
The gathering is necessitated by the 5th Alteration Number 15 Act 2023 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which renamed prison as correctional service and devolved it from executive legislative list to concurrent legislative list. In Lagos, Musa Tolian, NTA News.
Towards achieving its constitutional mandate of ensuring judicious utilization of public funds, the Sokoto State House of Assembly Committee on Agriculture has urged the Ministry of Agriculture to uphold transparency and fairness in the discharge of its duties. This was during an oversight visit to the ministry's central store located in the Kasarawa area of the state. House of Assembly correspondent Shehu Yusuf Anka reports.
The agricultural sector is part of the 9 Smart Point agenda of the state with a view to providing food security. It is aligned with this development that the lawmakers paid an oversight visit to ascertain the level of commitment.
We are here just to see ourselves before the distribution started.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, Mustafa Al-Qadi, briefed the legislatures, saying the development is a collaboration with the state government and the Ministry for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs.
Our people, both the peasant farmers and the large, small, medium farmers are going to benefit. And we really know this will really go a long way in boosting agricultural activity in the state.
The total number of trucks of fertilizer procured by the ministry consisting of urea and NPK amounting to 1.878 billion naira aimed at complementing the effort of the state government towards food security and other necessary farming mechanisms. From the Sokoto State House of Assembly, Shehu Yusuf Anka, NTA News.
The principle of checks and balances between the executive and legislative arms of government in Ogun State is engendering good governance, transparency, and prudent management of state resources. This was reflective of the recently concluded week-long oversight of various ministries, departments, and agencies of government by the Ogun State House of Assembly.
After the passage of the state fiscal law, ministries, departments, and agencies of Ogun State government usually draw from the allocated funds for the implementation of government programs and policies to make life more bearable for the residents of the state. In ensuring accountability and judicious utilization of state funds, lawmakers at the Ogun State House of Assembly engaged the MDAs during oversight to assess their performance and examine successes and challenges hindering effective service delivery.
Beyond budgeting, we also carry out oversight function on local government. We carry oversight function on even the activities of our contractors. That is beyond ministry, department, and agencies. Anybody that has something to do with naira and kobo of the state government, we have responsibility to carry out oversight function of such to enhance probity, accountability, and transparency in our MDAs.
Oversight function is just doing something outside legislative core legislative duty, which is lawmaking activities. You aside in the sense of seeing the projects they are doing in your community, you see how the best you can be of help or advice regarding the effectiveness or the nature of the job they are doing in your constituency. It's also affording us opportunity of doing that as well.
This legislative oversight takes many forms. For instance, legislative standing committees at Ogun State House of Assembly are responsible for continuous review of the work of the state agencies in their subject areas, including evaluating agency operation and performance. Honorable Musefiu Lamidi, Chairman House Committee on Finance and Appropriation, explained the advantages of the oversight engagement of the executives and local government administrations to overall development of the state.
The necessary thing for the House of Assembly is to monitor the spending of these monies we have put in the budget. That is via oversight and appraiser, and that is what we have finished doing by telling them to come and we normally do it quarterly, but this time around we waited for 6 months for it to be all encompassing and for us to be able to do something better. And we have gone through their documents. We have seen a lot, some gray areas. We have pointed it out to them. And, in terms of performance, we are going to discuss at our own level in the committee, and see what we are going to suggest to the executive via the House, because at the committee level, we normally represent the Speaker. The whole House, we're going to talk to the whole House about what we have seen. Therefore, our resolution about what you have seen in the last 6 months, we are going to send it to the executive for them to know where we believe we need improvements.
Effective and efficient legislative oversight functions ensure executive compliance with legislative intent, improves efficiency and effectiveness in conduct of public enterprises and economy of government operations, evaluate government programs, performance, and ensure value for government resources. In Abuja, Yemi Dalemo, NTA News.
Yemi Dalemo is here to tell us more on the legislative interventions of the Ogun State House of Assembly. Thank you for joining us, Yemi. Now, can you brief us on legislative activities on the Ogun State House of Assembly between January and now? Are they on recess at the moment, like the National Assembly and some other state assemblies?
Thank you for joining us at the Ogun State House of Assembly in Abuja. It has been business upon business at the Ogun State House of Assembly in Abuja here, as the lawmakers are actually not on recess yet. It has been a period of more engagements of the lawmakers with the various MDAs. They are also combining the plenary session with oversight functions, particularly in the last 7 days. It has been a rigorous exercise here at the Ogun State House of Assembly, where the lawmakers and the various standing committees are assessing the performance of the state ministries, departments, and agencies of government for the last 6 months, that is from January to June, is to ensure that these MDAs are actually working in line with the fiscal law approved for each of the ministries and departments of and agencies of Ogun State government, in order to make sure that the policies and programs of the state government and the executive are actually carried out to the letter. The various MDAs appeared before this committee in the last 7 days, and it has been a very thorough exercise. I can confirm that to you. As the lawmakers scrutinize the performance of the MDAs to ensure that what was actually approved for them are the things that they are actually using the allocated fund, the state funds for, and then sometimes where there is need for them to commend any of the MDAs that did well, they got commendations, and where there is a need for them to charge them to actually do more, this is also being done.
Yemi, do you think the Ogun State House of Assembly has done well in its oversight functions?
in terms of the performance of these lawmakers, their oversight function, they have never been found wanting. Not only that MDAs are coming here to, for their appraisal, this time around, before now, I have had the privilege of going with them to local governments where they also carry out oversight functions to check the projects that local governments are doing, and to ensure that they comply with the standards and actually in line with the policy of the executive arm of government. House of Assembly are actually doing well in terms of the oversight functions. During plenary, they bring up a lot of bills that directly impact the people and lend their voice to good governance in the state. And that is not only that, they also ensure that there is effective monitoring of various government projects that are going on across the 20 local government areas of the state. Sometimes after plenary, they just embark get into their vehicle to go and inspect one project or the other to ensure that these projects are actually done according to the wishes of the people of the state who elected them into that position. So the lawmakers here are actually performing their oversight function very well, and to this I can give them a pass mark.
Thank you so much, Yemi, for your contributions. We appreciate. We also have in the news the Chief Whip of the Senate, Mohammed Taher Mongunu, to highlight the essence of parliamentary oversight. Senator Mongunu, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. You are welcome.
Senator, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly well.
Oversight is always seen as a critical function of the legislature. What role does it play in democracy?
In tandem with the extant laws establishing them, and also in consonance with the provisions of the Constitution, which is the grand norm of the land. So sequel to that very explicit and unambiguous provision of the Constitution that gave Parliament the power of oversight, the Parliament is divided into various committees with the mandate of oversighting various MDS to ensure that their mandate is complied with and the provision of the Constitution is complied with. And especially also when it comes to appropriation, to ensure whether the budget is being implemented, the appropriation law, which is the budget, is being implemented in tandem with the spirit and letters of the appropriation law in order to bring dividends of democracy to the doorsteps of the people. That is why from time to time, the various committees of Parliament embark on oversight visits to the various ministry departments and agencies to physically see for themselves whether the appropriation law is being implemented in accordance with its spirits and letters to bring dividends of democracy to the doorsteps of the people.
Comparing the National Assembly to state assemblies, how will you scale oversight function of state assemblies in Nigeria?
Well, unfortunately, the process of oversight is more robust at the national or at the federal level. The independence of the legislature is more assertive and pronounced at the federal level, maybe because of the fact that the resources for the running of the legislative arm of government is directly charged from the Consolidated Revenue Fund as per the Constitution. But at the state level, it's not like that. I think that's why the independence of the State House of Assembly is a bit compromised. The independence of the legislature is much more pronounced and well established at the federal level compared to the state level, because there is the preponderance of dominance of the executive over the legislature at the state level compared to the federal level.
Senator, what are the major obstacles to effective parliamentary oversight in Nigeria?
I think one of the major impediments to effective oversight by the parliament is one, in spite of the hues and cries by Nigerians that huge amount of resources is being deployed for the running of activities of National Assembly. The resources coming to National Assembly is still not enough for it to effectively discharge that very important constitutional responsibility of oversighting ministries, departments, and agencies effectively. So long as resources are not enough, though resources will never be enough, but still there is need for improvement in terms of funding the National Assembly so that function of oversight can be effectively discharged. So lack of enough resources is one of the major things that constitute a cog in the wheel of effectively carrying out that constitutional responsibility.
Thank you for your time, Senator. We hope to have you again next time.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure and you're welcome.
This is NTA Parliament News. We will pause here. The news continues shortly.
Are you looking for a short channel to make your business, goods and services go viral? Look no further, as NTA Parliament is your short channel. Take advantage of our wider reach and advertise your products and services on NTA Parliament DSTV channel 370, GoTV channel 126, StarTimes channel 306, and Free TV channel 706. For more inquiries, contact the Marketing Department, NTA Parliament, NTA Headquarters Area 11 Garki Abuja, or call these numbers 080-383-40464 or 080-770-78055. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
Thank you for staying with us. Now to Constitution Amendment. Aligning regional priorities for a people-centered constitution is the recommendation from the various geopolitical zones of the country in anticipation of the draft Constitution Amendment bills. Timothy Yusuf reports that the Northwest Governors Forum at a Constitutional Review consultative meeting held in Abuja is in support of this position.
The Northwest Common Position on Constitutional Reform.
This is not just another policy engagement, but a gathering of like minds committed to shaping the future of governance, justice, equity, and inclusive participation of all sections of the country in the decision-making process.
The position of each state.
Participants emphasized that across the Northwest states, conversations have been ongoing from state executive councils to houses of assembly, civil society organizations, and traditional institutions, all aimed at contributing to Nigeria's constitutional review process. Discussions covered state police, fiscal federalism, local government autonomy, judicial and electoral reforms, among other topical issues.
As a region, we are acutely aware of the shared burdens that confront us. Rampant insecurity, youth unemployment, poor infrastructure, underinvestment in agriculture, drug abuse, and the weakening of traditional institutions. These are not problems confined to one state. They are regional in scope and demand regional solutions.
It is now our duty and responsibility to deliver a document that reflects both the wisdom of our region and the urgency of our time.
The Northwest Common Position on Constitutional Reform is expected in a harmonized technical document to be submitted to the 7 governors in the Northwest region, who will review and declare the final Northwest position at a subsequent session. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The Kogi State House of Assembly has passed 2 bills seeking to ensure grassroots development through efficient local government administration. Jacob Sani reports that the 2 executive bills are to give legal backing to a more functional local government administration in Kogi State.
Majority Leader of the House, Dr. Suleiman Abrazak, who led the debate, presented the two bills, which include a bill for the establishment, structure, composition, finances, and functions of local government councils in Kogi State and other related matters 2025, and the bill for the establishment of local government economic planning and development 2025.
The Honorable Speaker, my distinguished honorable colleague, the bill is in compliance with the requirement of Section 7, subsection 3 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as altered in 2023. Thereof, provide that it shall be the duty of local government council within the state to participate in economic planning and development of the area referred to in subsection 2 of the section. And to this end, an economic planning board shall be established by the law enacted by this House of the State Assembly.
Input from other lawmakers stressed the viability of the two bills. The House later went into clause-by-clause considerations with amendments on the bill to conform the Constitution. Thereafter, Speaker of the House Aliu Umar Yusuf read the progress report of the Committee of the Whole.
A bill for a law to provide for the establishment, structure, composition, finances, and function of local government council in Kogi State and other connected purposes 2025 is hereby passed into law by Kogi State House of Assembly. A bill for a law to provide for the establishment of local government economic planning and development 2025 is hereby passed into law by Kogi State House of Assembly.
The plenary was observed by students of Political Science Department, Federal University, Lokoja, Kogi State. Jacob Sani, NTA News.
And that's our package this evening. You can follow us for more news updates on our social media handles showing on your screen. Thanks for watching and have a good evening. I am Stella Inameti.